Hello, good morning, good evening, maybe even good afternoon. My name is Kristen Engstrom, and I serve on the New Jersey Synod Stewardship and Resource Development team. And I want to welcome you to the New Jersey Synod Stewardship Formation Series. We know and we trust that you, as members of your church council, or maybe your stewardship team, have been hard at work crafting budgets and spending plans for your congregation. As leaders in your congregation, you have put your faith on view as you have led your congregation in becoming generous givers of God's resources and in supporting God's ministry in your congregation, in the broader church, and in the world. As your partners in ministry, we know that for many of you, resources are tight in your congregation and possibly in your home as well. Instead of resources increasing, for many of our congregation, resources, or your money, time, gifts, and skills, seem scarcer than ever. When we count the Sunday morning offering or examine the treasurer's spreadsheet at council, our hearts may start to beat a bit faster, and the anxiety rises up in our chests as we hope that we will make our financial goals for the month or the year. One place, though, that we have come to expect generosity and miraculous abundance is in the stories of God's actions found in the Bible. In the Gospel of John, Jesus meets a woman from Samaria at the well outside of town one afternoon. He asks her for a drink of water, but she says that she can't give him one, for she's a Samaritan, and he's a Jew, and the two, they don't mix. He retorts that if she knew who was asking her for water, it would have been her asking him for some living water instead. "But you can't give me water," she exclaims to him. "You have no bucket." "But what is that living water that you're talking about?" By the end of the story, this skeptical woman had brought her whole entire village out to meet Jesus. 2 days later, many people in her town met Jesus. They even had lunch with him and received his living water. But did you notice? The woman never did get water from the well that day when she met Jesus. He had no bucket, but she did get a different sort of water, an unexpected abundance of water, because she got to know Jesus, and so did her community and her neighbors. And I'm pretty sure there was enough water for everyone to drink that day. When we, as people of faith, as leaders of your congregation, venture outside of ourselves to look for living water at God's well of abundance, God can transform our rising anxiety into renewed relationships with God and with one another. God is even already waiting at the well for you in order to provide flowing resources for your community, though they may look a little bit different than you might expect them to be. God's new resources might be community partners, new experiences, deepened relationships, new ways of doing ministry, and certainly grace abundant. You are not alone in this process of leading your congregation into a renewed vision of God's resources. And you are not alone in going to God's well. The Stewardship and Resource Development team is always available to meet with you and listen to you. In addition, this Stewardship Formation series contains several tools and exercises to help you reassess the resources God has entrusted to you and gain a broader vision of how God can create new life with the gifts already present in your congregation and in your community. We also invite you to use the growing number of resources and helpful tools available on the New Jersey Synod website. But most of all, remember that God is already with you, at work in your congregation, in your community, and in you, to create abundant life flowing with living water. God be with you.